Well, it says I am live, so I am going to trust that I am live. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be, or if you're watching this in the recorded version, whatever you may be engaged with at this time. Tomorrow is the Winter Solstice. And so for today's brief theme talk and practice, I decided to make that the direction because there's a lot we can learn here at this time. This is, of course, the time when we have the longest period of darkness and the shortest period of light. And to, of course, primitive people, to ancient people, this would have been a really scary time because humans are vulnerable anyway. And if you could imagine not knowing why the sun seems to have gone away, not knowing where it went, uh, you would feel even more vulnerable. And so this was a time when light was extraordinarily important, and usually in the form of fire of some kind. And we continue that to this day with different festivals of light, rituals of light, Christmas trees, menorahs, bonfires, whatever else it might be, to drive away the darkness because humans don't like the darkness. We get very scared in the dark. We become very used to electric lighting. And so we don't really appreciate the dark, perhaps, if that's the word to use, the way people did in ancient times. Now, instead of gathering around the fire hearth, we gather around the television. Uh, we gather around our Zoom meetings and so forth. We are in the time of COVID right now, in the time of a worldwide pandemic. The time is even darker than it's ever been. However, the promise of the solstice is that the light will come back again. The light will return, and it will return. I have something here from Barbara Brown Taylor, an author and Episcopal priest. I have spent some long, scary nights waiting for the sun to come up. There have been some long, barren seasons when I feared the sap would never rise again. The hardest thing is to keep trusting the cycle, to keep trusting that the balance will shift again, even when I can't imagine how. So far, it has. So, balance. We need light, we need dark. When I teach yoga, I teach balance as being the play of opposites, of up and down, of left and right, and so forth. Without opposites, we could not have balance. Without opposites, life itself could not exist. C.G. Jung identified the tension of opposites, the anima, the feminine, the animus, the masculine, the different, introvert, extrovert. These opposites are always at play. And he said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The latter procedure, however, is disagreeable and therefore not popular. So the Buddha taught that there are opposites. He called them the terrible twins: gain and loss, pleasure and pain, praise and blame, fame and disgrace. Gain and loss, pleasure and pain, praise and blame, fame and disgrace. And it's true. These happen in all of our lives at some point. We can't just have the gain. We also must have the loss. We cannot just have the pleasure. We have to also have the discomfort. So apparently, it's not the existence of these opposites that's the problem. It's the way we relate to them. So humans have always had this fascination with opposites. We like to mark the exact moment of the new year. We like to note the exact moment of sunrise and sunset, the phases of the moon. Stonehenge was probably a prehistoric observational timepiece of some kind, an observatory. And so as we move from this period of dark into this period of light, there is also the opportunity to go within, to explore the inmost cave of ourselves, to find the light in the darkness. It is here. It has to be. The poet Rumi wrote, "Shadow and light source both. How does a part of the world leave the world? How does wetness leave water? Don't try to put out fire by throwing on more fire. Don't wash a wound with blood. No matter how fast you run, your shadow keeps up. Sometimes it's in front. Only full overhead sun diminishes your shadow, but that shadow has been serving you. What hurts you blesses you. Darkness is your candle. Your boundaries are your quest." I could explain this, but it will break the glass cover on your heart, and there's no fixing that. You must have shadow and light source both. Listen and lay your head under the tree of awe. When from that tree feathers and wings sprout on you, be quieter than a dove. Don't even open your mouth for even a coo. And so let's begin our practice. In this practice, we will be investigating the opposites as they arise in real time and in actual experience. So find for yourself, first of all, a comfortable way to be in the body. This could be sitting in a chair, just as I am. This could be reclining if that's necessary for you. And your eyes can be closed. If you want to have some darkness, close the eyes. If you don't want darkness, leave the eyes open or open them at any time if you need to. Take good care of yourself. This is not about experiencing the difficult on purpose. It's just about noticing it when it arises, if it does. And so as we begin, as much as you can, allowing the moment to moment arising of experiences, including any opposites that might be at play. Notice the dance of opposites that's happening within you and around you right now. And as we begin, we can notice heaviness and lightness, feeling those places where there might be weight or pressure on the chair or the bed. We can feel warmth or coolness, openness or tightness. Some parts of us might feel very solid, and some might feel very spacious or even insubstantial. And noticing that all physical events, all of the sense events that we can know, are impermanent. They have their moment of arising, they have their duration, and then they have their moment of subsiding. And we can notice inhale and exhale, this play of opposites. And how the sensations of breathing can point the way to the present moment. If we use the sensations of breathing as an anchor, as a connecting point, we can feel directly the experience of dwelling in the present moment through the experience of feeling the body breathing. And so, resting your attention in an anchoring point of your choice. It could be the sensations of breathing. It could be the sensations in your hands. It could be the experience of sound in your world. And so connecting to the present moment is being mindful. The opposite of that is mindlessness, when the mind automatically wanders away, goes into those habitual thought patterns. And then the most important moment of the practice arises, when we become aware that we have been pulled away. Now the opposites are in balance again. We become mindful and present, and we can invite the attention back to our connecting point. And so we'll continue now through an extended period of silence, resting our attention in the connecting point, the anchoring point to the present moment. Noticing the experience of the wandering mind and knowing in that moment we have become mindful, and inviting the attention back to our connecting point. So enjoy this silence. as we continue. We need the wandering mind. We need to become mindless in order to become mindful. As we continue, when there are extended periods of silence, the mind can start to react. We may not be used to silence. We need the silence as much as we need the noise. In the periods of silence, the vulnerabilities may arise, the fears, the anxiety about the future. It can even take the form of how long will this silence last? This is here for our opportunity to become enlightened. These experiences lead us to light. Eventually, the silence will be broken. Trust it. Live in it. It will be okay. And so we'll have another extended period of silence leading up to the conclusion of our practice. And as we approach the conclusion of our practice, perhaps noticing how are things right now, checking in with the body. Has tightness or tension crept in? Treat it with its opposite, softness, letting go. And if you were visited by the opposites, by the terrible twins, thank them. They are here for your enlightenment. And we need shadow and light source both. And of course, taking as much time as you need to transition from this practice, doing some stretches, getting yourself something to drink. Rivka from Jerusalem, welcome. And I think I saw Christina from Germany. Wie geht's? Guten Tag. Gwen from Atlanta. Lynn Beal, good to see you here too. Hello, Emma from northwest of England. Always happy to have you. Sandy, all the way from Foothill Ranch, California. And my dear friend Shirley, you're here. Great. Good to see you all. Thanks for being here. And South Wales, wonderful. I just wanted to also let you all know that I have been offering a daily meditation practice Monday through Friday since March 17th. We just reached our 200th practice together last Thursday, and this will continue. There's no stopping it, but we're here Monday through Friday. That's at 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you would like more information about it and for me to send you a Zoom link, please write me here at the uh, address on the screen. That's my email address, and I will send you that Zoom link, and it is free. And all you have to do is have the link and come with a good heart, because we have a lot of good hearts there. And in fact, Carl, we have a teacher who's Welsh. Bethan Land, one of our teachers. I think she's going to be teaching this Wednesday. So we have a nice international group of teachers. So is there anything that you noticed in that practice? Hello, John Green, Bashful Johnny G. Good to have you here. Anything you noticed in that practice that came up for you, or any thoughts about the solstice, about the opposites at play in our lives, over which we really have no choice but to engage with? Equanimity is not, it doesn't bother me, nothing bothers me, I'm so equanimous. It's actually the willingness to go into the darkness as deeply as you would go into the light. That would be equanimity. I will go in equally into both directions, into the gain, the loss, the praise, the blame, the fame, the disrepute, and all of that other stuff. Is that Jean? Hello, Jean. Yes, it is you. Good to see you. Oh, thank you, Jean. Jean is advertising for me here. The check is in the mail. Don't cash it for at least a week. Okay, thanks. Dina, good to see you. Kept thinking about a discussion last week about airplane wings. Yes, you need two wings basically on an airplane. Yes, you can have a flying wing and it's basically just one wing, but let's look at it from the point of view of a bird. Birds need two wings. You need to have the opposites, and if you don't have those, no balance. Next time you're walking, notice the opposites. Twyla Tharp, the famous choreographer, was fond of calling walking a controlled fall. You are out of balance, you catch yourself. There's balance, there's imbalance. The opposites are at play. If you do Tai Chi, opposites are really a big thing too. The sage Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, just kind of in passing, said that if you practice asana, if you practice the postures of yoga, you become immune to the onslaught of opposites. Immune to the onslaught of opposites. So in your meditation practice, if you become aware of the opposites and go as deeply into one as the other, you will not be as bothered by them in daily life. You will become desensitized to them. You will know them for what they are, impermanent things. Nothing is permanent. Thank you from Houston. Yes, please do. Carmichael, good to have you here. Thank you. Opposites play in this exercise. That was enlightening. Yes, the opposites are always at play. Jean says, let everything happen to you. Beauty, terror, just keep going. No feeling is final. Oh, from Rilke. Ah, Rilke, the Dharma teacher's friend. Thank you, Jean. That's beautiful. Let everything happen to you. Beauty, terror, just keep going. No feeling is final. Many of my clients say, I'm afraid I'm going to end up blah, 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 whatever it might be. And I say, end up, it's just a continuation. Just keep going. Uh, uh, that we need them both to make us aware of each. Yes, you need them both to make you aware of each. You need the wandering mind to help you become mindful again. Playing around with the opposites of pain and pleasure. Yes, Rachel. And so, all right. So, yeah. So what it might require is more mindfulness of the pleasure. And I think you and I have spoken of this, that it is a wave pattern. It's not a flat line experience. There's intensity, there's a releasing of intensity. It can come, it can go. Right now, it's like this. Right now, it's like this. And the more aware we become of those, then the mind doesn't create a story that this is never ending and it never changes. But yeah, and I like your attitude, Rachel, playing around with the opposites. I think I'll just play with these. The opposites blended during the practice. Yes, exactly. Hi, Jita. Good to have you with us. Jita is one of our teachers in our weekday classes, which, by the way, are not affiliated with the Center for Mindful Living. But I do want to take this opportunity to thank everyone at the Center for Mindful Living who makes these things possible. Elisha and Stephanie, of course, and Valerie Strelko in Texas, and everyone who puts these things together and offers this, and all the other wonderful teachers that we have here at the collective. It's really it really is a nice practice. I always look forward to the third Sunday of the month. Donna, good to have you here. Thank you. Hello, Nan. Welcome. Thank you so much. Hey, Cheryl. Good to have you too. Yeah, these times together. Well, we need whatever time together we can, because during this time, the tradition is always to gather together. And you can feel it pulling you. You can feel it tugging you, even though now being together may not be a great idea for our health. we must somehow find a way to find that connection inside. We can always connect to ourselves. And from Jita in southern India, because of the available stone, the god-goddess statues are dark black stones turned towards prayer. Thank you. Ah, Pam, good to have you here too. Thank you so much. So many of my old friends, I've known some of these folks for many, many years. Some of you I do not know, but my heart is with you. So enjoy the solstice, remembering too, tomorrow night, a very interesting and auspicious event. Saturn and Jupiter are coming within 10 degrees of each other. So they're going to look like one big bright light in the sky. So after sunset tomorrow, wherever you are, at least in the northern hemisphere, um, look to the west, and my understanding is they should be at about 30 degrees ascension. So if you look to the west, you should see a very bright light if you have clear weather. Interesting that it would happen on the solstice, and I'm sure that the ancients would have seen this as an extraordinarily auspicious event, remembering that that one dot of light dispels the darkness. One light, one candle. All right. Thanks so much for being here. I'm going to let you go now. If you watched for the during the recording, feel free to get in touch with me as well. And I'll be here the third Sunday of January. I'll see you in the new year. So have a great rest of your solstice, a great rest of your Yuletide, a great rest of your year, and rest in the darkness. The light will come. Bye for now.